It was the afternoon of my 19th birthday, and I was more than excited. My best friend and boyfriend Brandon was on his way to come get me and take me home to spend the weekend. He arrived at Penn State and helped me pack my bags. I noticed he was in a hurry, which was strange because it was a Friday and neither one of us had anything planned to do. Or so I thought. We got on 80 and made it an hour or so down the road when he turned and said, "That's weird, the GPS says we won't get there till 8 p.m. Home wasn't that far away. Excited and curious as to where we were going, I grabbed the map out of his hand to see that our destination was New York City. I had told him a month or so ago how I had never been there and always wanted to. Words can't describe how excited I was. Tears of joy ran down my face as I told him this was the best birthday gift ever. We made it to the George Washington Bridge. It was beautiful. Definitely worth the $14 fee to drive over. Mesmerized, I could see the city in the distance. The buildings seemed endless. I had never seen so many lights. We made our way to the hotel, got checked in, then went to bed in preparation for a very busy and exciting day. Rise and shine, it was finally time to go out and see New York City up close and in person. We had a great French brunch at a fancy little restaurant and made our way to the subway. Even something as small as going underground to get on a train was so exciting for me. Our first destination was Times Square. We studied the map and finally made it. We were greeted with giant skyscrapers and huge billboards. I saw the ball that drops on New Year's Eve. It was so cool. We went into the giant toy store, saw the Good Morning America studio, and saw poorly dressed characters trying to make a few bucks for a picture. We looked like such tourists. I could not keep my head down. There was so much to look at up above. I had seen all this stuff on TV and in the media, but this was amazing. This place was absolutely huge. Next up was the 9/11 Memorial, which I was most excited about. I can remember sitting in kindergarten hearing the tragic news that the World Trade Center had been attacked. We got back on the subway. The subway stations were cool because they all had a theme, but I wasn't as excited about riding this time as the last because there were thousands of people and very little breathing room in the car. We had a very long 20-minute ride ahead of us, and finally, we arrived at our stop. As we walked out of the subway station, we could see the One World Trade Center, the tallest building in the Western Hemisphere. This was a remarkable sight to see. We made our way to the base of the giant building and looked up. I swear it seemed like it never ended and just kept going up forever. We continued to make our way to Ground Zero. Being here really gave me a sense of gratitude of being an American. It's hard to imagine the trauma that this city went through. Although the memorial was still under construction, there was still plenty to see. There was a north and south pole where each of the two towers once stood. Engraved along the perimeter of both was every single name lost during the terroristic attacks. Words can't describe the emotions that were felt. I will never forget that day and how it shaped our country. We left the memorial and made our way down to the Statue of Liberty, another symbolic figure of our freedom and how lucky I am to be an American. We made our way on the USS Miss New York and set sail for Lady Liberty. It was cool to see the city from the water. I couldn't help but imagine what it would have looked like if the Twin Towers were still standing. My heart was heavy for those who have lost their lives on that tragic day. In the distance, I could see Ellis Island, the immigration center for those that wanted to join our great country. I saw the George Washington Bridge, and finally, I could see the statue in the distance. A very excited and eager Brandon looks out the window of the boat as we start to dock and get off. The view from the island was incredible. We could see absolutely everything. We looked at the statue in awe and read the historical background behind it on how it was given to us by the French. The statue is a welcoming symbol to the immigrants arriving from abroad. Of course, I had seen many pictures of the icon growing up, but seeing it in person was speechless. We watched the sunset on the island and made our way back on the ferry and to the subway. By this point, I had practically had the subway map memorized. We grabbed some Brooklyn-style pizza, then went back to the hotel to catch some Z's for the long drive we had the next day. I made it back to Penn State Sunday evening. My weekend in New York was so meaningful and sentimental, definitely the best birthday gift I've ever received. I feel as an American, everyone should visit New York City at least once in their life because it is such a symbolic and historical city in our wonderful country. I'm so lucky that I got to see it, especially because it was with my best friend.